Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to design your own runway stage in CLO3D. In the stage folder of the CLO3D library, you'll find several pre-made runway stages to choose from. These stages are thoughtfully crafted and highly functional, offering convenience and versatility for your designs. However, creating a custom runway stage that perfectly complements the theme of your design can be an incredibly rewarding experience. So let's dive right into it. In the 3D window, I have brought in an avatar and the pre-made CLO3D runway stage from the library. To make it easier, I'll use the pre-made stage as a size reference to determine the scale of the stage I'm building. Having an avatar is also helpful for gauging the height of the stage. First step, I will select the CLO3D runway stage walls. Go to Property Editor and lower opacity to 0. Repeat this process for most of the objects, leaving only the runway base pieces visible. Use the Rectangle tool to create a rectangular pattern. Go to 3D window, rotate the piece and align it parallel to the floor. Switch to the top view and compare the new pattern to the original runway stage. Use the Transform Pattern tool to adjust the rectangle and make it close to the size of the original stage. Once it's done, I will create another rectangle pattern and use it as the backstage. Select both patterns, go to Property Editor, increase the thickness rendering to give the stage depth. Reduce the side geometry curvature to 0 to have sharp edges. Select both pieces and move them below the ground grid in 3D window. Check from different angles to ensure both pieces are as close to the ground grid as possible. Make sure both pieces are level, especially at their connecting sections. At this point, the T-stage runway is complete, and I can start designing the stage according to my concept. For this demonstration, I will design a Greek-inspired stage with columns. Use copy and paste to duplicate the backstage pattern. Then use Smooth Curve tool to reshape it into a half-round pattern. Increase the thickness rendering to make it taller, and placed it behind the backstage. Move it to the ground. Create a new rectangular piece to serve as a stair connecting the platform and backstage. Next, duplicate the platform pattern and move it upward. Decrease its thickness rendering to make it thinner. Add an internal line and cut out a section to create a ceiling panel for the background. The setup is now ready to add columns. In my previous tutorial, I introduced free3d.com, a website where you can download various free OBJ items. Here is a column OBJ file I found, and it looks pretty nice. However, I decided not to use it for my runway stage. Depending on what type of computer you have, adding too many OBJ files can slow down your computer. So, I decided to make my own columns. Here is the way to make the pattern. First, use Ellipse tool to draw a circle. Rotate and make it parallel to the ground. Make a duplicate of the circle and scale it down slightly. Place the smaller circle beneath the larger one. Use the circumference measurement of the small circle to create a rectangle that is 3 inches high. Click the large circle to get the circumference measurement. In my case, it was approximately 8 inches longer than the smaller circle's circumference. Use Fullness Line tool. Select top and bottom rectangle segments. In the Fullness window, enter 8-inch value to the fullness line distance move to generate a curve pattern. Using Sewing tool to attach the longer segment line to the larger circle and the shorter segment line to the small circle. Select the pattern in 3D window, right-click and choose Superimpose Side. Freeze both circle patterns and simulate to ensure everything fits properly. Increase the thickness rendering of the larger circle to give it depth. Make one more duplicate circle, scale it up slightly and place on the top. And the top portion of the column is finished. To make the column section, I will make a duplicate of the small circle pattern and add an internal circle. Use Add Point tool to place points along the circle outline. Move every other point toward the inner circle. Then use Smooth Curve tool to reshape each point. In 3D window, make sure this pattern is parallel to the floor. Go to Property Editor and increase thickness rendering until the column reaches the desired height. Select all the top column patterns, copy and paste to make a duplicate. Rotate them and place under the column. In addition, I will add one more larger circle at the bottom for the column base. From Polyhaven website, I found a free stone texture that I can apply on the columns. And the column is finished and ready to be integrated into the runway stage. Back to the runway stage. I added the column to the scene and used the gizmo to place the column at the center of the platform. Next, I selected all the column patterns, copied and pasted them to create a duplicate, and moved the duplicate to the left side of the platform. Then I selected all the column patterns again, right-clicked, and choose Symmetric Pattern to generate a mirrored column on the opposite side. Repeat these steps to add 2 more columns. For the stage, I found a cracked concrete texture on the Polyhaven website. In Property Editor, I will upload the base color, normal, and displacement maps. After applying the texture, columns and stage colors were too similar. So, I replaced the column color with a lighter tone to create a much better contrast. For this runway stage, I like to have a touch of ancient Greek ruin aesthetics. To achieve this, I plan to modify the edges of the stage to create an irregular, weathered shape. Use Add Point tool. I will place random points to the outline of the stage. Drag and move each point into different directions with Edit Pattern tool. Once the rough shape was complete, I refined it into a smoother curve using the Smooth Curve tool. With the outline finished, I added more columns to the background to fill the empty space and enhance the overall composition. Finally, the runway stage and columns were complete. It was time to preview the result in the render window. In the render window, I have set the image size to A4 and customized the background color. For the lighting, I've selected one of the preset options and made custom adjustments. Both preset lighting and environment lighting are great options, depending on your preference. For beginners, I recommend starting with a lighting option that closely matches your vision and then tweaking it as needed. This will simplify the process. If you are unfamiliar with environment lighting, it refers to the overall illumination of the scene, often achieved using an HDRI, high dynamic range image, to create realistic ambient light and shadows. The angle and intensity of HDRI lighting can be adjusted in the property editor for fine-tuning. To further personalize the lighting, I modified the light colors to align with the theme and mood of the project. Additionally, altering the background texture can enhance visual interest and complement the overall design. With the lighting setup, the stage still feels slightly dull. To address this, I decided to darken the background lighting and add IES lights between each column. IES light uses data created by the Illuminating Engineering Society to replicate specific light patterns and intensities, simulating how they appear in physical spaces. There are several IES options to choose from. However, once you select one IES light, you can only adjust the color. I'll test one IES light and render the scene to see the result. I really like how the light interacts with the columns, so I will proceed to add IES lights to each column. After putting all the IES lights, the stage still needs some refinement. I am going to add a rectangle lights around the base of the columns behind the platform. Now I am satisfied with the result. I will save the stage as project file in case I need to revise it later. Once it's done, I can export it. Go to File, Export as OBJ, and it will bring out the export window. Make sure to select all the patterns. If you use any graphic or trims, make sure to check that. Choose Single Object, Thick, and Centimeter. Save with Absolute Texture Image File Path and click OK. After exporting, select all the patterns in 2D window and delete them. As you can see, all the IES lights remain in the 3D window because they were not included when exporting the file. To avoid this issue, it's better to set up the lighting after re-importing the OBJ file. In this case, I will leave the IES lights in place and just import the OBJ file back into the 3D window. Go to File, select Import OBJ to bring out the runway stage. In Add OBJ window, this is really important. Make sure you select Scene and Props for object type. Centimeter for unit, 100%, and click OK. After importing the OBJ file, the IES lights remain in the correct position, so no adjustments are necessary. Double-check the render window and reassign material types for the columns and stage if needed. For runway stage texture, I will enter the amount for displacement map to enhance the texture's depth. Now I am satisfied with the final result in the render window. Go back to File. Select Save as Scene and Props. You have options to use your own thumbnail image or just choose Auto. Let the software auto-generate one. And the runway stage is completed and ready to use. When saving stage as Scene and Props file, all your lighting properties will be saved as well. To make sure the runway stage works properly, I will bring out a project file to test. In 3D window, I uploaded a Greek-inspired dress. Go to File, use Add Scene and Prop to bring out the stage. To avoid any issues, it's better to double-check that the avatar feet are touching the ground. If not, right-click on Avatar to select Move all avatars and garments to the ground. Perform a final simulation to ensure everything is functioning correctly. Additionally, verify that none of the garment patterns are frozen. Once you've confirmed there are no issues, proceed to select a motion from the library folder. If your runway stage were saved correctly, the avatar and garment will move to the motion's starting position on the stage. To record animation in the latest version of CLO3D, go to Top Toolbar. Under Animation, click Animation Editor. Select 3D Window View only and close the rest of the windows. Check Animation window, drag the bar to the end to make sure the entire motion frames are selected. If you like to record specific section of the motion, you can enter the start and end frame in configuration. Choose Animation Stable for the simulation quality. Once everything is set, click Record to start. After importing the stage, you can still adjust the color and lighting before rendering or recording animation. Now the motion recording is complete. Let's play to see if there's any issue. I am recording the motion from 3D window only for this demonstration, so it's not the best quality. If your computer can handle high-quality rendering animation recording, you can check out my previous tutorial to learn how to do it. Here are some of the render images. If you like to download this runway stage for free, just use the link in the description. That wraps up the demonstrations for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.